Okay, on to day three, or technically kind of three and a half for continuous line drawing. Yes, we're doing crumpled cans. It does have to be a crumpled one, although not too crumpled. I don't want it smashed into like a flat kind of Oreo cookie. I want it to be slightly upright, but a little bit crunched like you're seeing there. And you are going to be doing this in one long line. And I'd say this is the longest I've taken to draw something. Um, I'm going to have you holding it, so that means you're drawing another hand. I know, groaning, right? Another hand along with the can. If you have extra time, I would encourage you to do a second can, only make sure you switch to a different brand, or a different can with different crunch marks on it. Anyway, again, life size, and you're looking at all those shapes, including where the can is folded. And you want to try and get the angles correct and the shapes correct on what you're drawing. Again, it's important that you have your can positioned right next to your drawing, so very close to where you're working. And this is an exercise where you need to look very closely at your object. I'd say, again, slow down. Don't need to draw fast. In fact, I want you to take your time. Your eye and your hand should be working in tandem, which means as you look around the edge, your pen should be following. And I'm hoping that we get our order of pens in so that everyone can be working in pen rather than pencil, but we'll see. I do advocate for using pen on this assignment, just because you'll be less tempted to erase, but also it has an easier flow to it than a pencil, which is liable to break. Okay, so I'm speeding up the drawing of the hand. You already know how to draw a hand. Just realize that with practice, you will get stronger. Just make sure you are looking at the hand in terms of shapes, and then you look for those creases. Anywhere your finger bends, you're going to find a crease. So look for that. And I do want some writing. You don't have to go over the top, but I do want the brand name on there. In fact, that was the most exciting part, was doing that broken Coca-Cola brand name where it was like bent. I wanted to show you what the hand looks like on my board. So I still have quite a bit of empty space, but I also haven't drawn two hands. I only did one for the demonstration. So now you're seeing the three drawings, and there's still quite a bit of space left over, so I could put an additional can in there, and I also have space for Friday's lesson, which is going to be even more of a challenge. But remember, I don't ever have you do something without a purpose. Okay, so this part actually took quite a bit of time too. You want to look for the silver metallic part on the top, and you can get really detailed with this. Those of you who have had art before and who need a challenge, you probably know who you are. Try getting some of those reflective properties that this can will have. So the silver cans, I think, are the hardest ones because they have all those reflections within them. So I'm going for that top silver part first. By the way, I make my own gray by taking brown and blue and then water. And then I add other colors to it. So like in some places it had a little bit of yellow, and other places I put a little bit of blue in with that to make it more of like a darker version of gray. And then I'm looking for the shadows on the can. There's a variety of colors and ombres that are occurring on the can. I just wanted to skip ahead so you can see what the can looks like. But you do want to get a variety of values and colors, and a lot of those colors should be colors you are mixing. So even though obviously it's a red can, I got some violets in there. I found some spots where it was more like red-orange, kind of like a tomato can be red-orange. So you want to look for variety of color and value within that form. So a form is something 3D. And now I'm going in and I'm painting that hand. Same idea as before. I'm looking for the shadow. In fact, there's a cast shadow by my thumb. So there's a shadow that is being thrown onto the can itself, it's important that you try and get those shadows because the shadows help to articulate the form, make it look like it has volume, which is something we are going for in this class. Don't stress out if it's not perfect, but I do want you to avoid coloring things all one color. Like just because it's a red can, you wouldn't just use only red on it. And I would say for the lettering, even though it's white, that white should have a flavor to it. So you're adding something to it. So maybe it's blue or violet or a little bit of yellow if it's in bright lights. I talked to some of you guys about that. Like, how do you address painting something white? And just so you know, I never use white on its own. If I'm working with acrylics or with oils or whatever, I never just use pure white. I always give it some other little bit of another color to it. It makes it stronger. And the same is actually true of black. That's also been a question, is how do you make black? You can do it a number of ways. You can take the dark blue and the dark brown. You can also try putting the darkest green and the crimson red together, and you might have to add some dark blue to that. Try and match your skin tone to the best of your ability, and again, you're going for different shifts in temperature. So look for areas where it goes more violet as it turns into shadow, or more yellow or pink depending on the light source. And I wanted that hand to be kind of pale because I wanted the focus to be on that bright can. So have fun with it, take some time. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done, and make sure you're coloring in the thumbnails. Those are important, or the fingernails. So here's what it looks like on my page, and again, there is some space there, but you can see that it's starting to be filled up. You want to have a few spots left so that you can put another can in potentially, and also some space for not tomorrow, but Friday's lesson.